Did you know that you could get paid a distribution every single day of the week? That's right. I knew about this before, but I wanted to do a little deeper dive today to look into the ETFs that are paying out once a week, but they've made it staggered so that they actually pay out a different day of the week every single week. It could be an interesting strategy. This is not financial advice. It's just me kind of unveiling what I've discovered here. And I'm going to share with you the location. I looked this up. I'm also going to share with you what to look for here and what I look for whenever I purchase an ETF or a stock, if you will. But I thought it was really interesting. The wheels started turning in my mind here. What could happen with that compound effect if I was to buy something that paid out every single day of the week? Now, I want to be clear, it's not the same ETF that pays every single day of the week. It's different ETFs that have a set day that pay every week on the same day. Now, I guess that probably may depend if there's a holiday or not in that week. That could change it a little bit, but let's go over the ones that I've found. There are other ones. I'll share with you where I found the location. These are just the ones that I've looked up. There are, of course, other ones that pay. But I think it's interesting to think about, if I get paid on Monday, can I take that money, put it into, the next ETF, or even go backwards, put it into the one that pays out on Friday, just to compound that interest more and more and more. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to share my screen with you. Then we're going to go through some of the ETFs you're going to see on the screen here. We're going to look at their share price. We're going to look at their performance, what they've paid out over the last couple of weeks, months here. And, let me know in the comments if this is the kind of content you like to see. For me, I'm not invested in any of these that I'm going over with you. I probably won't invest in any of these. I don't know. I mean, I could be swayed depending on how their performance goes, but I've got my mindset on the ones that I'm already invested in. You guys know my strategy. I'm trying to get the 6 pillars of income, each of those pillars paying me $500 a month. At that point, I would reassess what I'm doing. So far, I'm at, at one point I was at 2 or 3 pillars. The distributions have been decreasing a little bit over time here. And so now I'm at 1 to 2 pillars every single month, but I'm close on almost all of the pillars, which is really cool to see. Let me share my screen with you here. Let's take a look at what I've got here. Found this on the old www.internet.com. And what I found was on Roundhill. This is a company that provides these weekly ETFs here. They are paying out once a week, each of these, and they're on certain days of the week. So let's go from the top here, and we'll go through some of these funds, not all of these funds, but again, I'll show you where I found it. So if you want to go take a look yourself after the video, you can definitely do that. So the first one that we have here is, let's go. It's kind of a reverse order. It's a little bit weird. Let's go to paydays, right? So let's go to the second from the bottom here. So we have Magnificent 7 covered call. For me, I like this one. I like the Magnificent 7. This one, declaration date is every Thursday. Again, depending on holidays, everybody. Okay, do I have to say that every time? That's it. I'm not saying that anymore. X date is going to be on your Friday, which means that you have to have your funds in on at least Thursday by 8 p.m. Eastern. The X date, we should see a decrease in the amount of share distribution that's going to be coming out, depending on if the market goes up or down. And then it's going to pay on Monday, right? So this is your Maggie. And what we're going to do, we're going to go up here. I've got all of these windows open above here. We're going to take a look at the price of all of this. Actually, can we do that now? Let's do that now. So we'll go back here. I found it on Roundhill's website. I went into our ETFs. You can see they list them all out here. I probably found it under weekly. It was a little bit of time ago, but do some clicking around when you're in here. You'll see it eventually. But they got a huge list here of ETFs over at Roundhill. Maggie. Oh, there it is, under income ETFs, right? So this is going to be following the Mag 7. Here's the page that opens. It's not too difficult to look at. One of the things that I would recommend you do, if this is something you want to do, is look at the fact sheet, look at the prospectus, all of that stuff. So as of August 11th, which is yesterday, their distribution rate on Maggie is 35%. I would like to go take a look at the share price. So $57.14 over the last month, down like pennies, right? And then, I mean, this thing hasn't been out for too long. Yeah, it came out April 23rd. So good time on the market to come out after the market went down. Since it's come out, it's up 8%. Let's take a look at its distribution so far. Like I said, 35% distribution rate there. A lot of scrolling. There's all of the dates of the distribution, and here come the distributions so far. So it's hovering around that 38-cent mark every single week. You can see there's an increase from back in June where it was 27 cents. And then when it first came out, it was 47 cents for a couple of weeks. So, on a $57 ETF, you're going to be making 38 cents, give or take a couple cents here, give or take a market condition up or down. But it seems to be fairly consistent in distribution payments so far. That's like, what, 8 weeks in a row here of around the 37 to 38 cent mark. Not too shabby at all. But, it could be interesting for you to look at, that's for sure. Let's go look at the next one that comes out on Tuesday. So this is going to be declaration date on Friday, X date Monday, and pays out on Tuesday. That's a quick turnaround. They've got a bunch here: AAPW, COIW, NVDW, PLTW, and TSLW. Another one on there is BRKB, which is a new fund over there. This is kind of your Berkshire Hathaway type fund. This fund has come out. Let's go find out. It came out June 18th, so it's relatively new. Since it's come out, down 7.58%. Not such a hot start to it, that's for sure. And its payments, let's go take a look here so far. What are we looking at? Like 7 payments so far. All over the map: 23, 22, 20, 39, 37, 21, and 30 cents so far. But this one's paying out on Tuesdays. Now you can see, if you want, take a look at some of your other options here. These are going to be your Tuesday payers. If you want a little Apple, a little Coin, a little Nvidia, a little Palantir, or a little Tesla, these could be good options for you. But yeah, take a look at them. Let's move on to Wednesday's payment, which is going to be Week, which is a fun name, Week. Week is a T-bill play, and it's relatively new too. It came out on March the 6th, but look at this crazy chart. I don't really know what's happening with this chart. Let's go to the 1 year. It is at 0. It's up 0 cents. It's up 0%. That's an ETF that I would want if it's going to pay me a distribution. Just stay dead even for the rest of my life, but pay me a distribution. Let's go take a look at the payments on this $100 ETF. You're looking at 78 cents every single week, it looks like so far. So far, it's paid out 4 payments, all in the 78-cent range. Oh, shoot. You know what? I read that wrong. 7-cent range. That one's not really worth it to me. Although, I mean, 7 cents. How long is it going to take you to get your money back on this? Let's go up on this one a little bit. I want to do a little bit more of a deep dive on 4% distribution rate. That's old school money right there, right? Old school says you need 4% return every single year. I mean, it could be a lot safer potentially. United States Treasury stuff here. It's not for me. I'm a high yield investor. I'm looking to make money, not just kind of store money, and I can get my money somewhere else. But hey, that's an option for a weekly right there. So that's your Wednesday. Look at the Thursday one here. So declaration day Tuesday, X date Wednesday, and payday Thursday. So we got YBTC and YETH. Now, I should have looked up YETH for Guero, but I didn't. Sorry, Guero. But I looked up YBTC here, and this is going to be kind of a Bitcoin option. So again, this one's paying out every Thursday, and we can take a look at the distributions before we look at the price. So it's hovering from 20 cents all the way up to 56 cents, and there's an 87-cent. Wow, there's some big payments down here. $1.67, $1.77. $2. What the heck? This thing is doing pretty darn good. $4. Oh my goodness. And so, they had a strategy change. Look at this, the dates, right? So they were monthly before. And then they switched over to weekly somewhere along the line here. Right here. There you go. That's the drop in distribution. That kind of makes sense, what happened there, right? Okay, cool. So this one is now hovering around the 53 to 24 cent range I've seen so far. There's a 20 at the low so far. So, okay. So 20 cents is the low. Let's go take a look at the price of this. 48.54. Not too bad actually. I mean, look at it came out January 19th, 2024. And since it's come out down 1.2%, but it's paid out a lot of distribution. So if you're looking for a Thursday pair, YBTC could be an interesting play for you. Yeth is another one that's very popular out there right now. That could be something to look into as well. But then what I did is I also looked up some of the Roundhill Friday pairs. And then, of course, you've got your QDTE. You have your XDT, that sort of thing. But for me, if I'm looking to get paid every single week, I'm sticking to what I know, which is going to be Alti, YMAX, YMAG. These are Friday pairs. Plus, if you want, you can add on what you already have out there, which is going to be things like, your Group A, your Group B, your Group C, Group D. Let's take a look at XDTY, though, since it's come out just over a year. I think it was March 11th of 2024. Let me see if I'm right here. I could be wrong. Oh, March 8th, 2024. That was a good guess, though. You can see it did have a pretty rough February to April here, down 19% share price. Since then, though, it's come back up 9%. $44. This is going to be one of the most stable funds at Roundhill. In distributions is going to be a little lower than some of the other funds out there, but yeah, hovering around the 25 cent mark. You can be scrolling here for a while looking at these numbers. I'm looking down the furthest column here. And then you also have QDTY. This one's going to be a little more volatile. It's going to pay out a little bit more than XDTY. I think they have one called RDTY as well for the Russell Index. And yeah, I mean, look at that. That's nice. That's a nice steady growth of 22% in share price. It really dipped hard in that February there. But yeah, I'm interested to see how these funds are doing. I also have up here Alti. This is another weekly pair. This one pays out most people on Fridays. Not me. I'm not most people, though. I get paid on Monday for this one. But I think it's kind of interesting to think about getting paid every single day. And this would be like almost a true wheel, right? You'd be taking the distributions from one, putting it into the other, the other, the other. It's interesting to think about the strategy of where you would put these. Maybe an idea might be to actually go backwards with where you put your distribution, right? So if you got a distribution on Monday, you would take that Maggie payment and you would put it into Friday's, RDT, QDT, or XDTE. You would take the Friday's distribution, right? And sorry, then you would go to the Tuesdays and you would put that into the Mondays. Then you go to the Wednesday, put that into the Tuesday. You see what I'm saying here? Take the Thursday's payment, put it into the Wednesdays, and then take the Friday payment, put it into the one before, right? The Thursday. What you're getting there is not a ton of share appreciation after the fact. You're getting paid every week. You're building up your fund. You're building up your distribution. You're building up your income. And a lot of people that are invested in these type of funds are in it for the income, not share appreciation. One of the things that you would want to do before you ever entered into these positions was take a look at the website itself, which is Roundhill. I found it pretty easy to find here. I'm not necessarily a pro at using their website, but I mean, it didn't take too long for it to find these. They got so many different little different symbols here for their ETFs, and some of them are weekly. Look at all the weekly pairs here over at Roundhill. One thing that I'm paying attention to is performance. We've been in a fairly bullish, quote, quote, market right now. How is the performance of these funds compared to what you currently have? Is the funds going up? Is it going down dramatically? Are they still paying out in this bullish market? people don't want to say it's a bull market, right? Because it's not necessarily a bull market yet. Next thing I would want to look at is probably some facts about like the premium discount, how much they're charging you, their expense ratio. So over at YieldMax, most of the funds are at 0.99. Some of the more in-depth funds like Alti are up a little higher than that, like 1.28%. And that's what they charge you to run the fund. But this is a brand new one, the Berkshire Hathaway fund at Roundhill, only a $5 million AUM on this one. But that's something to look into whenever you do your research on this. You probably want to take a look at some of the documents here as well, and look at the frequently asked questions before you make a decision on what you want to do. But have you been thinking about, making a change or starting to invest your money in something that will pay you every single day? I know a lot of people love the weeklies, but I mean, if you like any of the funds that you had just seen there, and it kind of correlates to how you want to invest, have you thought about doing that at all? It's an interesting thought for me. For now, for me, I'm sticking with my plan, but it's not I shouldn't say that I'm sticking to it, right? Because things change. The way I want to do things change all the time, and the market changes all the time. And that's one more thing to look at with these funds. What kind of protective measures do they have in place if the market does tumble for a week or 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, a year, right? What kind of protective measures do they have in place? What happened the last time this happened? August 1st, February, April 4th. Those are some dates to take a look at as well. Purpose of this video is just to kind of show you that there are other options out there. If you got any value out of it, I hope to have you as a subscriber to my channel. My name is Mike. This channel is Health and Wealth, and I hope you have the best day. Bye for now.